Welcome to Reddit Echoes, where secrets are laid bare, where words that seem harmless carry the weight of a sentence, and where those who seem innocent might be the ones pushing others to the edge. In today's video, you'll hear 6 true stories. Stories that will make you question, is the line between right and wrong always that clear? From a woman abused by her husband, nearly killed yet labeled a traitor, to a teenage boy who lost a friend because of one moment, one sentence, one emotional outburst, and a wife lying next to her husband suddenly realizing she wasn't the one in his memory. These aren't just Reddit stories. These are chilling slices of truth. Moments that stir empathy, ignite outrage, and sometimes leave you with a strangely satisfying sense of justice. Story 1. I cheated to escape the man who almost killed me, and I don't regret it. Someone once asked me if you had to choose between surviving by betraying someone or staying loyal until death, what would you choose? I answered bluntly, I'd choose to survive. And if betrayal is the price of living, I'd do it again. No hesitation. I got married at 20 to a man I thought was the one. He was polite, calm, well-spoken, and both of our families adored him. No red flags, no warning signs, just love. A month after the wedding, he was deployed. His first military deployment. We video called, often texted every day. He told me he wanted a baby as soon as he got home, and I wholeheartedly agreed. The dream of a sweet little family, or so I thought. When he came back, I had everything ready to tell him the good news I was pregnant. He heard the news, walked over like he was about to hug me, and suddenly slammed me to the ground. A painful body slam that left me stunned. Then he picked up his phone, called my dad, and said with a big grin, "I made her fly like Hulk, sir." My dad was speechless. And I lied to myself, thinking maybe he wasn't mentally stable after the war. And I stayed for 2 years. 2 years of violence, screaming, isolation, control, cameras in the house, sleepless nights fearing I wouldn't wake up if I dared to close my eyes. I still didn't leave, not until the day he choked me unconscious while I was breastfeeding our baby. All because I said good morning while he was playing Call of Duty and hadn't muted his mic. When I came to, blood was still dripping from my mouth. I was lying on the floor, one side of my chest still leaking milk. I called the police. I called my parents. I grabbed my baby and left. I left. I started living again until my father passed away, and I foolishly went back. He acted normal for a few weeks. Gentle, polite, even brought me flowers. But the moment I spoke in the wrong tone, that familiar look came back into his eyes. That's when I finally understood I wouldn't be able to leave unless I stopped loving him, or stopped feeling alone. So I started texting an old flame, my high school sweetheart, someone pure, innocent, untouched by the filth of life. He'd just gone through a divorce. We met for coffee, then for drinks, then stayed up talking till morning. Then we kissed. Then I never went back home. I moved in with him, and I don't regret it. Not for a single second. I had begun rebuilding my life until he died suddenly from a stroke. Dead. Just as I was starting to believe I could be loved again. I was shattered. But I didn't go back to my ex-husband. I hired a lawyer. I fought for custody of my child. I kept living. There was a time when he found out I'd cheated. He cried. I almost laughed, but I didn't dare. Because when he cries, that's when he's capable of killing. I got out. And now I can say this without guilt: I cheated. And if that was the only way out of that hell, I'd do it again. 100 times over. Story 2. I killed someone with just one sentence. I've never stabbed anyone. I've never been in a fight, never got expelled, and I'm not a violent person. But no matter how many more years I live, I don't think I'll ever be able to wash this one question out of my mind. If I hadn't said those words, would he still be alive? 10 years ago, I was a 16-year-old kid obsessed with Minecraft. obsessed to the point I wore a creeper t-shirt to school. Then one day, a new kid transferred in. Quiet, always sitting in the corner, never talking to anyone. But he also wore a Minecraft shirt. That cheap cotton shirt is what brought us together. I walked over to talk to him. He was shy at first, but when I complimented his shirt, his eyes lit up like I'd just handed him the universe. We played for hours. Minecraft, memes, YouTube, repeat. But like every teenage obsession, I eventually got bored. I started hanging out with my old group again. And him, the friend who had no one but me, started clinging on. At first I was gentle. I'm busy. Maybe next time. But he didn't get it. He kept texting. Then he'd find me at the cafeteria. Wait for me outside the bathroom. Walk with me to the bus stop, going on and on about stuff I didn't care about. Do you know the RL Craft mod? I crafted a diamond sword with a name now? He would talk non-stop, never waiting for me to reply, never noticing how irritated I looked, and I started losing it. I didn't have the guts to reject him outright, so I just stayed silent, swallowed my frustration, let it build inside me like a ticking bomb. I hated myself for not speaking up, but I hated him more, for always being there. Then one day, I remember it was overcast and I was exhausted from a terrible math test. We were standing at the bus stop. He started talking again. I turned to him. My eyes were bloodshot, my voice colder than December. And I said, "Can you just shut up already? I was never your friend. We just played Minecraft a couple of times. You're annoying as hell, and no one at this school even likes you." He froze, like a statue, said nothing, didn't react. Then he got on the bus and left. The next day, our homeroom teacher called me and a few others into her office. She was shaking. I'd never seen her cry before. Yesterday, he took his own life. I couldn't hear anything after that. It was like my heart was in a vice. Cold sweat drenched me. My ears rang. I knew. I knew exactly why he did it. The funeral was 2 days later. I went. I don't know why, maybe guilt, maybe fear, maybe hoping my presence could count as some sort of penance. Then his parents walked up to me. They didn't yell. They didn't scream in my face. His mother took my hand and said, "Thank you for being his first friend. He told us you were the only one who understood him. He never had friends. He was severely autistic. He said you played with him every day and talked about you all the time." I stood there, face pale, my body numb. I wanted to scream, "No!" I said the worst things to him, but I couldn't. I just nodded and cried. I didn't know he was autistic. No one told me. I didn't realize he saw me as his whole world. All I knew was one sentence, 1 second of anger, one cruel moment had taken someone's life. It's been 10 years. I've never touched Minecraft again. I've never had a closer friend, and I've never forgiven myself. I live, but he doesn't, and sometimes I wish it were the other way around. Story 3. I'm dating a girl, and I think she might be actually stupid. Okay, this sounds bad, and maybe I am a jerk. But if you've lived in my shoes for the past 2 years, you'd understand why I'm sitting here with my hand on my forehead, sighing, thinking I'm in love with someone who can't tell east from a refrigerator. I met my girlfriend 2 years ago. At first, I thought she was cute, a bit dreamy, kind of like a manic pixie dream girl straight out of a movie. A little forgetful, a bit careless, but adorable. I used to think, wow, I'm so lucky. Wrong. So wrong. That adorable thing. Yeah, that wore off after a few months. What replaced it was a crime against logic. Examples. Fine, here we go. We were walking downtown and she insisted we try this TikTok famous food spot. She told me to turn left, so I did. Oh wait, no, we're supposed to turn right. Okay, fine. We turned right. This doesn't look right. I think it was left at the laundromat. I turned around and I kid you not, after 15 minutes of wandering in circles like two headless chickens, she turned to me and said, Maybe it's closed. I wanted to swallow my Google Maps app. She has no basic sense of direction. Actually, no, this isn't just a lack of direction. This is primitive-level survival failure. I started to feel like a GPS app infected with malware. And then came the legendary burrito incident. One night she asked me, "Do you want burritos for dinner?" I replied, "We don't have any ingredients. You didn't buy beans, meat, or tortillas." She nodded thoughtfully. A minute later, "So, you don't want burritos?" I blinked. Wait. Did she secretly buy ingredients without telling me? I changed my tone. If we have stuff, sure, I'll eat it. Why are you asking?" She smiled sweetly. "Oh, I want some too. But we don't have ingredients, right?" I didn't know where I was anymore. Had I been sucked into a time loop created by an alien species trying to test the limits of human patience? It didn't stop there. When she talks, I honestly don't know if I'm part of a conversation or competing in a rapid-fire mouth-breathing contest. She circles around her point, contradicts herself, mid-sentence, asks a question, answers it, then denies the answer she just gave. I don't know if I'm listening to a conversation or a TED Talk from a goldfish. I started acting like a jerk to her, and that made me feel horrible. I hated myself. I didn't want to be the snappy, impatient boyfriend who loses it because his girlfriend gave wrong directions 5 times in 5 minutes. But sometimes I genuinely feel like my IQ is getting dragged down just by standing next to her for too long. I also feel relief whenever I'm alone. One time I went out just to buy toothpicks. 5 minutes alone, and it felt like I'd just escaped a mental prison. I almost wanted to set up camp in the supermarket and call it a wellness retreat. She's a good person. She's not mean. She's not cheating. She hasn't done anything wrong. But I can't deny it anymore. I've lost respect for her. And when you lose respect for the person you're in love with, what's left? Bonus round internet's reaction. Weirdly enough, when I shared this on Reddit, I thought I'd get some sympathy. Instead, I got roasted. "You're the only idiot here for staying with someone you don't respect." She's not dumb, you just don't understand how she thinks. You need Google Maps, a therapist, and a boot to the face. And maybe they're right. I'm stuck in a relationship I thought was love, but maybe it's just me trying to figure out the least painful way to exit. I just don't know if I'm the villain for wanting to leave someone who hasn't done anything wrong except not being smart enough, or if I'm just a guy who's worn out from too many conversations like, "What should we eat? Rice?" "No, we don't have rice." "Then what should we eat?" "Rice." If this story leaves you wondering who's really the dumb one in this relationship, trust me, I'm asking myself the same thing every single day. Story 4. My husband was getting flirted with, and she had no idea I was the one paying for everything. I used to think I was lucky to have such a wonderful husband. And honestly, I still think that. He's kind, respectful, a great dad, and has one big dream: starting his own company. Sounds impressive, right? Wrong. It's a money-sucking black hole that's earned us exactly 1 sesame cracker in profit. But I didn't blame him. I was the one who agreed to let him chase his dream. I was the one who covered all the bills. Rent, school for both kids, office space for a startup that still had 0 clients. Why? Because I made enough. I work in a field that doesn't sound glamorous, but the profits make people think I'm running a drug cartel. I'm a writer, but not the tortured philosopher type. I write adult romance novels, the kind of books women read and then exhale slowly afterward. I'm not kidding. One of my series is called Reverse Harem Apocalypse. It's a Kindle bestseller. My husband calls it My Wife Saves the World, by writing about 7 hot guys and a pair of handcuffs. I tell you this so you understand I'm the one supporting the whole household. And everything was fine until she showed up. Some acquaintance through friends. A few years younger than me, dressed like a humble Instagram model, and very into asking things like, "Wow, what do you do for a living, sir? You're an entrepreneur." That's so inspiring. This house is gorgeous. What do you do for work, ma'am? Oh, wait, I'm guessing he provides, right? At first, I just smiled, until she started DMing my husband, sending memes, articles about startups, and then the kicker asking him out for coffee so she could learn more about entrepreneurship. My husband handed me the phone and showed me everything. He's not the type to hide things, or maybe he just didn't want to. I read the messages and laughed. A laugh my husband calls Category 12 hurricane warning. This girl. She thought I was a clueless housewife with no idea how money works. She thought he was some ultra-successful businessman pulling in millions. She thought he was a walking wallet. What she didn't know was that she was flirting with my wallet. So one fine day, I decided let's get petty. I invited her to dinner with a group of our friends. I opened a nice bottle of wine, served premium Japanese food. Her eyes lit up. While everyone chatted, I casually started talking about my job. Oh, have you heard of the Alpha Omega Boys series? You've definitely seen it on TikTok, right? I wrote that. Yeah, I write full-time. My husband quit his job to pursue his startup. But luckily, I make enough to support 2 startups, his company and himself. Laughter all around. She laughed too. But her expression shifted from cute to oh crap. Then she slipped and asked, "Isn't it stressful being the breadwinner for the whole family?" I sipped my wine, looked her straight in the eyes, and smiled. Not really. I just prefer choosing my husband based on character, not income. But I get it. Not everyone's built that way. After that dinner, she vanished from our lives like a bad dream. No more messages, no more check-ins, no more entrepreneurial inspiration memes, and my husband. He looked at me like I had just bench-pressed a planet. "You're the real CEO of this entire universe," he said. I just shrugged. I didn't need his compliments. I just needed her to understand flirting with the wrong wallet can be a very expensive mistake. And if you're wondering, what if she knew you were the breadwinner, do you think she'd flirt with you instead? Honestly, I hope not. Because truthfully, I don't have the time to teach someone that I don't just write about alpha males. I bankroll one. Story 5. He made my life a living hell. And now he lives with his mom and a wife who won't do the dishes. I was born and raised in a modern Indian family. By modern, I mean the kind of parents who supported my education career and didn't pressure me to get married right after college. Sounds like I hit the jackpot right wrong. Because I made the dumbest mistake of all, I fell in love with someone from the complete opposite kind of family. We met in high school. He was kind, gentle, even wrote me poetry, bad ones, but still. We were classmates, took college entrance exams together, got into a top university. I thought, this is it. The person I can build a life with. Ha! I did go through life with him right up until he crushed every ounce of my self-worth. Everything changed in our second year of college, when his mother found out I existed. She hated me. Not because I was ugly, not because I was poor, but because my mom had a college degree. And in her words, educated women destroy families. I'm not joking. She literally said my mom didn't know how to respect her husband just because my mom drives herself to work. She called me a girl chasing boys because I gasp-initiated conversation with her son. And my boyfriend, he didn't defend me, not once. I'll never forget one family gathering at his house. I had just sat down when one of his little cousins pulled my chair out. I fell. Everyone laughed. Someone poured water on my shirt. Someone accidentally spilled curry on my dress. And his mother looked straight at me and said, "This girl looks spoiled, probably on drugs." I sat there soaked dirty, shaking. He stood right next to me, said nothing, looked down, like I deserved it. I slipped into depression, couldn't sleep, barely ate, walked through school like a zombie, and when I finally said I wanted to break up, he blocked me. He told me, "You're not allowed to leave me. You have to prove to my mom that you're worthy." I didn't realize how stupid I was until I told my dad. He didn't say much, just made a call. Told him one sentence which he later told me was, "If you ever text my daughter again, I'll come to your house and teach you how a real man behaves." Poof. Gone. Until years later, a mutual friend messaged me he got married to the girl who bullied you at that party. Tied the knot the moment he landed a job. And now this is the part I've been waiting for. Karma. My ex now works in an office job he hates. His mom. Still her charming self, but this time she picked the wrong target. His wife, the one who dumped curry on me, thought marrying into a rich traditional family meant she'd get to relax and be pampered. Wrong. His family is ultra-conservative, no maids allowed. Mother-in-law and daughter-in-law fight like feral cats every single day. The wife is lazy and nasty. The mother-in-law is controlling and outdated. The result, one side refuses to do any chores. The other refuses to hire help, and the husband just stands there like a mute as always. I hear they argue everywhere at home, in the market, in the car, even at other people's weddings. His mom still lives with them. His dad resents him because he doesn't want kids and refuses to speak to him. The whole house is like a bloody survival game under one roof. And me, I have a master's degree. I work at an international company. I travel. I write. I love myself. I'm not married, and I no longer need to prove my worth to any future mother-in-law. And yes, I know. I'm supposed to feel pity. I'm supposed to forgive. I'm supposed to feel compassion. But the truth is, I'm sitting here sipping an overpriced latte, scrolling through their wedding disaster photos on Facebook, and I'm laughing. A guilt-free, glorious laugh. Story 6. My husband recalled sleeping with his mistress, thinking it was me. We were lying in bed. I remember I was in a pretty good mood that night. We had just finished dinner, watched a few silly TikToks, then moved on to some YouTube comedy clips. One of the videos that popped up was a street interview where the host asked, "What's the weirdest place you've ever had sex?" I laughed. Not a fake chuckle, I mean a real laugh. Then I turned to my husband and said, "For us, I guess it'd be that beach during the contest trip, right?" It was dark, the waves crashing a bit of wind, remember? He looked at me. No reaction for a few seconds. Then he burst out laughing. "Nah. The weirdest place was that supermarket bathroom back when you were staying at your aunt's and I was living with my brother." I froze, blinking. What? The supermarket bathroom. Don't you remember? We snuck in while our kid was sleeping in the car. You were wearing that purple dress. I went cold. Our kid hadn't even been born yet. I was still pregnant at the time, and I am 100% certain I have never had sex in a supermarket bathroom. I remember every single place I've ever done it, especially the unusual ones. That kind of adrenaline doesn't fade, and I never wore a purple dress during pregnancy. In fact, I hate purple. I sat up. My heart was pounding, trying to break out of my chest. I asked again, more quietly, "Are you sure that was me?" He nodded like he was recalling some warm, intimate moment. His eyes sparkled. He smiled. "Yeah, you even joked, 'Hurry up, this feels like a Japanese adult film.' Don't you remember I didn't forget? Because it wasn't me. I've never said that. I've never had a memory even close to that, because it didn't happen. Not with me. And that's when reality slapped me across the face like a flying flip-flop from hell. He cheated. I had already forgiven one affair before. A mistake, as he called it. And I was stupid enough to blame myself. Maybe it was because I was pregnant and exhausted. Maybe that's why he strayed a little. Strayed. He didn't stray. He lost his damn mind. Now he was remembering a sexual encounter with another woman, thinking it was with me. What's worse than being cheated on and replaced in your husband's own memory? He didn't remember her face. Didn't realize it wasn't me. He had merged two women one he claimed to love, and one he secretly betrayed into one blurred memory. My memories were violated not by sex, but by his warped confusion. I didn't scream, I didn't cry, I just sat there, feeling like a line of code that had been overwritten, a character reprogrammed in her own story. He asked, "Are you okay?" I smiled, a smile that Stephen King himself would find unsettling. "Yeah, I'm okay. I just realized that supermarket bathroom definitely wasn't mine." And then he went silent. For the first time in our marriage, he had nothing to say. Epilogue. For now, I haven't said anything more. No yelling, no accusations. I'm just remembering. I haven't divorced him yet. Not because I've forgiven him, but because I'm calculating. I know how to walk away in a way that leaves the other person with nothing to hold on to. I know how to reclaim my dignity without raising my voice. Because when a man not only cheats, but also can't tell the difference between his wife and his mistress, he's already shredded his own love story. He didn't need my help. You've just heard stories that seem unbelievable, but they're all true. And if there's one thing to take away from today, it's this: karma may be slow, but it always finds the right person. Let us know in the comments. Which story hit you the hardest? Who do you feel for and who do you blame? And if you've ever been through something similar, we're here to listen. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and share this video with someone who needs a wake-up call, a story that reminds them of their self-worth. Because here at Reddit Echoes, we tell stories that sound like fiction, but they're the painful truths of someone out there. Maybe you, maybe me. Or maybe the person lying right next to you.